Good evening. Namaste. How are we all? Feeling good. Beautiful day here today. So hopefully you were able to get out and experience some of that beautiful sunshine because, it's really quite inspiring. So for me, passion and inspiration really go hand in hand. So passionate about the sun. Passionate about getting out in the beautiful outdoors when the day is really so very beautiful. Hi, Robin, we've just started. So if everybody's on mute, Jen, you'll need to turn yourself off and then the camera won't go to you during class. So I don't know how you went last week and whether you were able to spend some time thinking a little bit about passion and how passion is playing out in your life. Maybe you just began to notice some new interests or, really being drawn to certain things. I think right now it's what's happening is we really are shape-shifting who we are and what interests us. And I think it's a really important time to be really on it because we are going through a deep shift. And so collectively, we are going through a deep shift. And this is bringing up the friction. It brings up all sorts of, realizations. And we do tend to question more. Well, what is my life about? Where am I going? What am I doing? And why am I working so hard for something I don't get enough back from? So we may begin to start shifting our focus on what it is that we really want from life. And then, so our little hobbies and things that we may be passionate about, animals, gardening, cooking, spending time with certain people in your life. Lots of ladies today. So I was hoping that you were able to, I know not everybody was here last week, so maybe you didn't do that, but if you would like to spend some time thinking about what you're passionate about in life right now is a good idea. And then looking at what you're passionate about and how it's influencing your decision making and actions, I meant to say. This week, we're still looking at passion. So I would like you to think a little bit more about how passion might be spiking itself up. You don't really realize that, oh, this is because I'm passionate about something. But, when we're passionate, it can often make us a little like hot under the collar. We can get a little cross or angry about things. We're pissed off. We really want to tell people something about, but it's not like that. When you find yourself reacting strongly and often in a negative way, it may be a little pointer to something else that is being initiated in you that you're passionate about. Maybe you never realized you were passionate about this before. Maybe you have been, but you've never really directed that passion or that interest. And I'm talking about those things that do piss you off, that do make you angry, because it is a sign of something that's deeply important to you. And for me, that's where the action is right now, because there's a lot of shit that needs to change, and we need a lot of warriors out there who really care deeply about issues that are going to take humanity forward in a more caring, holistic, and co-creative or community fashion, but also for all the life forms that we share on this planet. So this is why I would really like you to actually begin to dive in a little deeper into the things that piss you off as an indicator of where some fiery passion might be about a cause that you could be interested in. Or an element of life that you're willing to, make some changes about and educate yourself about, and therefore perhaps educate others. I think it's really important that we start doing some of this work just now. So we have our watering passions that keep us nice and juicy and enjoying and loving life. And there are hobbies and our things that we love, like nature, animals, people, doing things that bring us joy, music, whatever that is. And then there's these other passions that can be a little bit more, you know, driven, is like, okay, I'm going to make some changes because I care a lot about this, or I care about these other beings or these other people, and therefore I'm actually going to make some choices and direct some of that energy into implementing, or, you know, hopefully creating some change within yourself, your life, and for those around you, or maybe beyond. So this week you might like to journal about that. You might like to sit in contemplation and just let it roll. Sometimes if we're meditating, we can't remember what we've come up with always, and so it's nice to jot things down. Or if nothing else, you can simply observe yourself, and it's fun to observe others as well, and seeing if you can begin to find any sticky, nasty, gnarly things that are actually a pointer to something that is important to you at the moment. Maybe it's emerging from you, maybe it's really been in there a long time. So without too much further ado, we're going to get into practice. One of the ways that we really begin to understand our alignment with our life and our alignment with our soul's purpose right now, because I believe what we're going through is to really bring out all our gifts, all our superpowers, everything that we were meant to be doing this lifetime is coming into a head right here now in these times. So in order to be clear about that, we want to check into the heart space, which is where passion comes from. And beyond that, within the heart, within the heart, within the heart, the heart in the heart and the heart is really ultimately our soul and our connection to divinity and to a greater purpose. So we're going to do a little bit of that. How you get into the heart of the heart of the heart is to go inward. And for me, going inward can be useful to be face down. So there's no distraction. So what I have here is a little setup with a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster, roll a couple of blankets or fold a couple of blankets. And hi, Pauline, I see you now. And I've got a block and a little mini thing for my head, but you could just have a cushion or a block, or again, a folded blanket or something like that. So we're then going to come to straddle it at the end, so our knees come wide, and we lay our pubic bone down the base of or the bottom of the bolster, lay our body over the rest of the bolster, and give yourself plenty of breathing space here between the block and your bolster, and you place the forehead on whatever support you're giving yourself there. So take your time to get this right. Yeah, work it for yourself. Sometimes the neck can be a little tricky in this. You can have it so it drops down a little bit, so you've got plenty of space in the back of the neck, so I wouldn't make that too high. So the body lies down from pubic bone to chest on the bolster, and then the chin and the head are completely off the bolster. Forehead is resting on the other support. I think most of you have got that. Can't see all of you. That's all right. Yeah, no, that's good, Jen. All right. So have your elbows nice and wide. See, one of you have got your hands down towards your knees. That's okay, as long as that's comfortable. And just remember that if something becomes uncomfortable during, then you can make the change. Otherwise, I usually have my hands just over my head and the elbows just in front of the shoulders, nice and wide, so they're much wider than the shoulders. And we really want to allow that space between elbow to really allow the shoulders to release and crack open the back half.
Have your feet so the toes are turned out, heels are turned in this frog-like shape with the legs. And as you're ready, you can just begin to take a few deepened breaths. Inhale deeply and fully into your body, and then exhale slowly out through the mouth. As you exhale, you might like a little wriggle or movement or adjustment as you release the muscles and the body into relaxation, into the earth. You might need around 3 or 4 hard breaths. The exhale through the mouth. But at some point, those breaths are just going to naturally fade away. And just allow that to happen. You can come into natural breathing or perhaps slightly deepened breathing with the sealed lips. Let your limbs become heavy and feel all 4 of your limbs. The elbows and hands, knees and feet pressing, releasing into the floor. Forehead and pubic bone can gently press into their support. Maybe you don't do that for long, but maybe just to get that nice sense of evenly weighting the body into the support beneath it. And then I want you, as you're ready, to begin to really slowly and consciously deepen the breath and breathe as if you're breathing into your front heart. So the front heart space, so where the bolster is. Imagine you can breathe directly into the heart space there. And that inhalation fills up into and throughout the torso. And in particular, around the back heart space, that space between the shoulder blades, around the shoulder blades. As you're ready, you can just allow the exhalations to feel as though they flow out the back heart. So we're going to inhale into the front heart. Let the inhalation create a sense of space and expansion and ease. Not just through the heart space, but the whole of your torso, the whole of your body, if you like. But really focusing that in that region, and exhaling through the back heart. This connecting front heart to back heart as the front and back doors. The front door enters into your own personal heart space. And the back door invites you into the universal heart space. The space or the place that connects you to the big heart in the sky. This is the connection to the heart of the source, of divinity, of God, or whatever you like to name it. And ultimately, where our soul gets its wisdom, receives information beyond time and space, beyond this 3D world that we live in. And once you feel you have that connection, I'd like you just to let it go and to really just begin to sit within your own body, your own energy, your own vibration, and particularly sitting within the heart space. Noticing the energy that you find here. Notice any sense of openness and ease, or any sense of resistance and limitation or hardness. And without doing anything with it, just learning to be present in your own presence. This is the place we come to listen. If you easily connect, you can just listen. If you don't connect here much and it's relatively new for you, sometimes it can feel a little frightening or scary or uncertain. So just learning to hold yourself in this space is just enough to start with, to softening to any resistance to the present moment within your own presence, within your own awareness, and within your own heart fire. The rhythmic, steady, conscious breathing can help hold us in place. But if you've let it go and you can stay steady, do so, or come back to the breath every time. You lose it. You lose that focus. Notice how comfortable you feel here. And be sure that you don't have any negative talking here. No self-doubt. No put downs. Just being pleased with your ability to stay at all. It's a real getting to know yourself exercise on a very different level than what we normally think about as getting to know ourselves. So, as you're ready, begin to find the breath again, and this time, perhaps you like to imagine that the universal heart is breathing back into you. So as you inhale, you feel the breath enter through the back heart and fills your body. And perhaps exits through the front heart. Perhaps the universal love finds a different expression of being released, and maybe it goes down the arms and out the hands, or circulates through the body. So just allow whatever happens to happen. So one last deepened breath, and on that exhalation, just letting go of all imagery, of all control. And we're going to start by just slowly drawing the knees in line, pretty much with the hips, straightening the legs out. And just lifting the feet off the floor so they hover over the knees, and just begin to lazily play through the ankles. You might like to roll the shoulders as if you're paddling backwards on a board. And then whenever you're ready, your feet feel good, your ankles feel nice, you can place the feet back down, bring the hands in under the shoulders. And we will use an inhalation to push up, and the exhale to drop back down, bringing your feet in a little bit and just dropping the buttocks down to the heels. Excuse me. You can drop your forehead to your bolster or your setup. Hands are just reaching comfortably out in front of you. You can just rock from side to side, letting that forehead roll from left to right. And then walking the hands in just a little bit closer, so you can just begin to roll out a little bit through the head. And you might like to round the spine as you drop the head down, or coil the spine. Each time the head comes in its circled downward spiral, then just sort of let the spine flex and then extend as the head is lifted. So we're doing sort of little rotations there. Just a few rounds and then change the direction. So we may be lifting our head up and over as we extend the spine, dropping it back down and across as we flex the spine. Just find your own way. It doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. You can just feel into your own body and what feels natural for you to move. And then just simply dropping the head down, pressing the floor away from you, rounding through the spine, the chin tucked. And then we can just slowly release that, coming to sit up. And we'll just, oh, I'm almost off camera. We'll just take the bolster to the side. We can also take our other equipment to the side. I'll take this cardio so you can see what's going on. And we come up onto all four paws to start with. Have your knees hip distance and your hands shoulder distance. And let's just start with a little wag of the tail, swishing from side to side. Like a cat wags her tail. And then coming slowly back to the center, we're going to drop the left elbow and right elbow goes out to the side, or out in front. And then we inhale and lift back up and exhale, right elbow down, left elbow out. And you can really dip your head, your shoulders with that. Inhaling up and exhale to the other side. Find your own way. Inhaling up and exhaling back down. We'll take one more round. We'll just allow it to naturally deepen without pushing, but with also exploring. And then coming back to the cats, all four paws. We're going to make circles now. Both the head and the tail are going to be like a skipping rope, like a skipping rope. Head and tail are the handles of the skipping rope. And your spine is the rope itself. So skipping in one direction for a few rounds. And then changing and skipping in the other direction. Really feeling into the spine, the shoulders, hips, heart, making it nice and juicy and fun for you. And then we come back to the center. We're just going to step this right knee out just a little bit, just from a tiny misalignment. I like to do that as I then reach up. I lean a little into the right side, reach that right hand up, and let's just make some nice rotations in the wrists. As you breathe into that right side, change the direction of your rotation. And then for one breath or one inhale, reach up from the left hand to the right. And as you exhale, begin to thread that right arm in under the left. Lay the arm along the floor. And you can just simply come up onto your fingertips, perhaps, of that left hand, wrist directly under the elbow and in line with the shoulder or thereabouts. And then just take a moment to relax into the pose and breathe. Explore it for yourself. And then pressing that left hand firmly now into the floor, the palm into the floor, and use the next inhale to lift the arm all the way back up. And as we exhale, simply coming back down, hands to the floor. And then we're going to slip that right foot all the way back. You could almost, let's come down onto our elbows actually, that'll be nicer. The toes are tucked and we push into the heel. And as we push into the heel, slightly lengthen all the way from that back heel back into the heart and back into the crown. From there, we're going to inhale, press back into our hands and bring the knee to the right hand so it sits just beside the right hand. You're going to untuck that back foot if that's comfortable to do so and begin to press the foot into the floor. I've come up onto my fingertips here and I'm just for a moment going to do a full body yawn, a full body stretch by pressing that back foot into the floor, activating it so the knee almost lifts off, and then finding the line, the pathway of energy, the pathway of extension all the way to the heart, maybe with the lifted chin, maybe with the lifted gaze. Breathe into your body, particularly into that left side. And then releasing slowly, head tucks back in, we drop back to our palms, and we step all the way back, knees come in line, toes tuck, and buttocks back to the heels. And we just allow our torso to rest upon the thighs. The hands can reach away, or equally if you're fatigued today, you want to work more gently, simply let the elbows drop to the earth. You might like a couple of deep breaths and you might like to sway or rock your way into comfort and release. And then on an inhale, we press up back into cat pose. And we extend that left leg out. And as we do, we're just going to simply drop to our elbows. Kick into, tuck the toe, kick into the heel. And as you do that, as you reach into the heel without losing that reach away from you, back behind you, see if you can have this energetic lengthening into the heart, into the crown. It's so subtle, right? But we're fine-tuning our sensitivity, our awareness. And then we did it a little wrong. We're going to drop the knee, come up onto the hands, and we this time step that left knee out a little bit. Hang on. Yeah, that's right. As we reach up into the left arm, and a little rotation there. Rolling through the wrist a few times in both directions. Take an inhale as you reach from hand to fingers, and then exhale as you thread that left arm now in under the right. Get yourself comfortable in any way. I'm coming up onto my fingertips. I'm just going to gently pull my hips from side to side, but particularly to the left. Pressing that left arm into the earth and just exploring the stretch, exploring perhaps even the rotation. That might look a little different. It might be rolling the head back and forth a little. Pulsing through that right shoulder. So explore for yourself. And then as you're ready, you're inhaling, coming all the way back up. And exhaling to bring the hand back down. This is where we were at. Now extend that leg back just momentarily, since we've already done this action. Kick into the heel, and then as you're ready, draw it all the way through to the left hand and just shuffle yourself into comfort. Untuck the back toes, come up onto your fingertips. And begin this like conscious stretching, yawning of the body. Just explore how deeply or firmly you want to press the back foot into the floor, and how that triggers an ongoing and sequential experience through the body. Up the leg, up the sideways, up into the heart. Maybe the chin wants to lift now. Maybe the gaze is up towards the fattening moon in the sky. And then just that nice last deep conscious breath that rides from the back foot to your heart and to your gaze. Ultimately to the crown, I guess, as well. And then you can release slowly out of there. Flatten your hands to the floor. You might want to tuck the back toes to just give yourself a little bit more support. And rather than just taking the buttocks down to the heels, this time we're going to walk those hands a little bit further out in front of us, so they're really out of alignment. Begin to suck the lower belly back in towards the spine and drop your heart to the earth. You can place your forehead to the ground, or just so the ears are in line with the arms. And then just the breathing there. Again, you can have a little wriggle around. See how that feels. And then slowly we're going to tuck the tail and round ourselves forward, so we come to lay our body, front body on the floor. You can untuck those toes, widen the elbows so they're wider than your shoulders and a little bit in front of the shoulders. And we're just going to lean the left shoulder in towards the right forearm or the right hand on the floor. Look over that right shoulder just gently and breathe into the left side of the body. Press that left foot into the floor and get as much juice out of that as you can in a really kind and enjoyable way. And then when you're ready, use the inhalation to come back to the center, and the exhale to repeat that on the other side. Press a little more firmly into that right foot as the right shoulder comes back down. Looking over the left, enjoying that stretch in the mid-waist. Breathe into it, release that diaphragm. And then coming back to the center as you're ready. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and the shoulder blades down the back. Try and create as much space through the neck and shoulders as possible. As you press the elbows into the floor, try and pull them back and slightly away from each other. And just make this like a powerhouse for a moment. Let's really activate the opening of the heart there for just a moment. Take a nice deep breath. Chin is directly in front. So we're looking directly in front. And then slowly you can press the hands into the floor. Release those elbows wide. One hand on top of the other and stack the forehead there. Tuck the toes in towards each other. And just take a few deepened breaths there. You might need to lift the elbows and place them back down so they can spread nicely. Tuning back in. You might like to roll the forehead over to the right and then over to the left or the other way around, doesn't matter. Just a couple of times to release any tension in the neck. And then just back to the center for a beautiful breath. Feel inward, feel into your body, your experience, your vibration. And breathe once again into your heart center. From the front, into the front heart. And just be aware of how it feels as you breathe. A few expanding and spacious breaths into the chest, into the heart. Just notice how it's feeling now and any changes that may have occurred. And then letting it go, bringing the hands in under the shoulders, using an inhalation to push up. And then if you have some blocks, we're going to use blocks. And if you don't have blocks, you can fold or roll a blanket or a firm cushion might work. We're going to place one block if you're using blocks. Everybody seems to have blocks here. That's okay. Good. One is lying on its back. One is lying on its side. You've all done this with me before. It's a heart opener. And just be careful about how you place. Oh, Jen, you don't have blocks. Oh, you should come around and get some blocks from me. I got so many. And I'm not teaching classes anymore like that, so you can come around and pick some up as a gift to you. So we're going to lay the blocks directly on our bra strap area. So our shoulder blades are supported. You'll find the sweet spot. So, you know, move around until you've got the sweet spot. And then the second high block is right in the base of the skull. So when you sit the head on it, it's very balanced. It's not on a corner, it's on its side. And the chin feels ever so slightly tucked. You can start with the feet on the floor, the knees bent, palms can be, well, arms, away from the body and palms facing up. And I want you just to get a little comfortable there. Excuse me. And see if we can now direct the breath, some deepened conscious breaths. Breathing from your third eye, from your eyebrow center, into the head, into the skull, and down into the heart. And then as we exhale, it's going to move back from the heart up to the head and out the third eye. So just finding this rhythm, finding this connection. And hopefully you're comfortable, and if you are super comfortable, you may like to try extending your legs down one at a time, zipping your legs up as if you've zipped up a jacket, so the legs are like one unit. Keeping the lower back nice and long, so that might mean slightly lifting the front hip bones, up in towards the ribs, or almost coiling them back. It's like a lengthening of the tail. And you might like to take the inhale from the crown all the way down to the feet and back. You may also at some point just like to let the breath go, or you may have some other direction for the breath that you would like. And so you might be very comfortable here, and you might like to just stay. If you would like to perhaps deepen just for a moment, one, you could try just simply lowering that head block down to its back, or even off altogether, though if you've got any neck issues, be super careful about that. Some of you, however, might like to try and simply make the brick under the heart higher. So the brick is on its side, and we find the sweet spot again. This isn't for everybody maybe, but we find that sweet spot again by popping the heart open. So I'm on the side, it's on its side as the same one for the head, same size as the head. And you really want to just try and get that super sweet spot across the shoulder blades. And then again, you might like to have the head one also on its side, and just for a few rounds of breath, allowing the heart to be fully expanded, opened. This may not suit everybody, so please just go with what you feel is right for you. And you might like to try and breathe, either whether you're doing this or not, a few deep breaths directly into the heart. And then as you're ready, you can draw those elbows in, tuck the chin so it looks over your body, and then press the elbows into the floor to get yourself out of there. Take the blocks out of the way. And we simply are going to widen the feet and lie down. But of course, if you're not warm enough, we're going to feel like a dwarf now without that block under my chest. I feel like I'm tiny. That's so weird. I was so expanded before. But you might need something warm over your body. So if you need to put a blankie on or some socks or something, take that time to do that. And then come and align yourself in Shavasana. Take the time to get comfortable.
do a few conscious breaths so that you really release the body, relax yourself completely. Let the whole back body be long. And releasing to the earth. And you can do this without, without lengthening your breath. But to breathe consciously into the body, just allow those natural breaths to be really conscious. And to feel the vibration of your body, to feel that background hum, that buzz, that pulsation. And as you feel into that vibratory tone of your body, imagine all of those cells vibrating, that they're vibrating passion, that they're vibrating really high vibe into something that really is inspiring for you. And to feel that passion in the vibratory tone of your body. Let it fill the whole body up with a sense of inspired passion. And as you feel that, make sure that all your muscles completely relaxed and the bones are heavy. That you can be inspired and passionate in a really relaxed manner. And then let it go all together if you haven't already. And just let your body drift or float in peace. And then just gently beginning to reawaken, finding your way back. Perhaps through deepening the inhalation.
perhaps through just gently moving through hands and feet.
Just slowly rolling onto your side. Pressing up as you're ready. Bringing your hands into prayer and then just keeping the thumbs attached and swinging them around so we can do like little wings and then placing them over the heart. Just gently bowing the head to the heart as we really want to begin to have a better connection of the heart brain and the traditional head brain. And our brain is really in service, our mind is in service to the heart, not the other way around. This is what aligned action is, when we can align our actions behind the heart's yearning. So just feeling the energy in the heart space. Clearing your mind of thoughts. And letting them connect and unite. Hands, if you like, can come back into Namaste. As we close class together, thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to look into what is, making you a little feisty and see how that might be connected to things that are important to you. Good night.